Well, hey friends, welcome back to Equipped for Worship. I'm your host, Chuck Harris, and I'm really glad you've joined me today. Over the past few episodes, we've been talking about loving people well, leading with clarity, and shepherding the room, not just musically, but pastorally. Today, I want to talk about a group of people who are absolutely essential to worship ministry, but who often exist just outside everyone's field of vision. I'm talking about the people in the booth, the sound team, the AVL team, the slides team, the livestream team, whatever you call them, the people who faithfully show up early, stay late, and spend the entire service making sure everything works, while quietly praying that nothing breaks. And let's be honest, they're often only noticed when something doesn't work. Nobody's walking up to them after service and saying, "Hey, those slides advanced at exactly the right moment today. Incredible work." But miss one slide, and suddenly everyone becomes a lyric timing expert. And here's what I want to say clearly. Your tech team is not just running equipment. They are carrying responsibility. They are serving people, and they need shepherding just as much as anyone standing on the platform. Let's dive in. Serving in the booth is a unique kind of ministry because when everything goes right, it feels invisible. But when something goes wrong, all eyes are on you and it feels very visible. A microphone cuts out, a slide comes in late, or even the live stream buffers at exactly the wrong time. And in those moments, the people in the booth feel it immediately. Not just technically, but personally. Because most tech volunteers care deeply. They're not there by accident. They're there because they want to serve the church faithfully. They're paying attention the entire time. They can't mentally drift. They can't disengage. They're watching every cue, every transition, every moment. While everyone else is singing freely, they're thinking, okay, chorus again, and then chorus again. Bridge is coming. Wait. Are we doing the bridge? You see, it's a different kind of worship posture. Not less sincere, but more divided in attention. And over time, that can become exhausting. Not because the work is bad, but because the responsibility is constant. And worship pastors, worship leaders, we need to see that. Not just whether the sound was good, not just whether the slides worked or were on time, but whether the person serving is being cared for. Because faithfulness under pressure needs encouragement. Scripture has a lot to say about people whose faithfulness is quiet. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12, Paul reminds us that the body is made up of many parts, and the parts that seem less visible are not less valuable. In fact, he says they deserve special honor. Not because they demand recognition, but because they are essential. The church cannot function as it should without them. The people in the booth help ensure that the word is heard clearly. The songs can be followed. The congregation can participate fully. Their work supports clarity, and clarity serves worship. Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 reminds us, whatever you do, do it from the heart as something done for the Lord and not for people. That includes adjusting a microphone. That includes advancing slides. That includes fixing a cable 5 minutes before service starts, which, let's be honest, is when cables most often decide to stop cooperating. Faithfulness is not measured by visibility. It's measured by obedience. And worship pastors have the privilege of reminding tech teams that their service matters, not because it's impressive, but because it's faithful. One of the quiet dangers in worship ministry is that we begin to relate to people primarily through their function. We notice whether things worked. We notice whether something needs improvement. But we forget to notice the person. It becomes easy to say, "Can you fix this? Can you adjust that? Can you change this?" without ever saying, "How are you?" Not as a formality, but as a shepherd, as a pastor, because the person running slides may also be carrying burdens at home, walking through grief, battling discouragement, or simply feeling unseen. And they may never say it because their role trains them to stay quiet. They're used to being behind the scenes. That's why worship pastors must lead relationally, not just operationally. People are not extensions of equipment. They are souls entrusted to your care. You see, teams flourish where leaders create environments of clarity and grace, where expectations are clear, where training is patient, where mistakes are not treated as catastrophes, because mistakes will happen. A slide will come in late. A cue will be missed. A microphone will be muted when it shouldn't be. And in those moments, the worship pastor sets the emotional tone. A calm response says, "It's okay, we'll adjust." A frustrated response says, "You failed." One builds confidence, the other builds fear. And fear does not produce faithful ministry. Grace does. Confidence grows where people know they are safe to learn, not because excellence doesn't matter, but because people matter more. One of the most important things worship pastors can do is remind tech teams that they are not outside of worship. They are part of it. Yes, their attention is divided. Yes, their responsibilities are real, but their service is not separate from worship. It is worship. Not because the equipment is sacred, but because their faithfulness is. Sometimes that simply means telling them what you do matters. Not dramatically, not ceremonially, just honestly. Because the booth can feel far away from the room, but spiritually, it's not. Let me close with this. Worship pastors are not called to shepherd platforms. We are called to shepherd people. That includes the people in the booth, the ones who arrive early, the ones who stay late, the ones who serve quietly. See them, encourage them, thank them, not just for what they do, but for who they are. Because faithfulness in hidden places matters deeply to the Lord. Well, next time we're going to talk about something every worship pastor faces eventually: criticism. Not how to avoid it, but how to receive it faithfully, discern it wisely, and keep your heart steady in the process. If today's episode stirred something in you, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me anytime at chuck@equippedforworship.com. Thank you for serving faithfully. Until next time.